Hey guys, welcome to the garage. Today's project, working on this 2016 Range Rover Land Rover Evoque. Forget who makes this, who is it, Jaguar? Whoever it is, they won't really tell you how to service this car at all, right? There are some YouTube videos on basic maintenance online, but you're gonna find relatively nothing for this car. I checked the service manual, there's nothing in there either. What we're doing today is replacing the alternator. That's the old one. This is the new one right here. Now, to get to this thing, because again, there aren't any videos on this, right? It's a pain in the ass. The alternator is located in this area right here, right? This whole segment right here. And it's only held in by 3 bolts, 3 10mm bolts, right? Seems pretty simple, right? Before I took this thing out and figured out how to take it out, right, I took off the passenger wheel, took off the inner fender liner, and as you can see, there's no space at all to reach that alternator or any of the bolts. I was able to take off the serpentine belt through here though, so that was clutch. Although I could have also done that through up here, all was pretty tight. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm 6'5", I have big ass hands, and it feels like this car was made to be worked on by, I don't know, little people, more short people, people with ridiculously small hands, maybe children. I don't know. Whoever engineered this this engine bay, the maintenance on this car, like they should just get fired, honestly. But yeah, let's get to it. So pretty much, this is all you have to do. I removed the intake just because I was figuring stuff out. You don't have to do that. It does make things a little easier because you have to remove like a lot of the vacuum lines and some vacuum lines that tie into the intake. So I took it off. It's up here, right? There's only one main vacuum line that attaches to it. Cool. You do have to take off the entire intake manifold. And that was a little bit of a pain in the ass because of the space in here. So let's take a look. Here's the intake manual. Intake manifold, sorry guys. When you remove this, be extremely careful because look at this. There's 3 vacuum lines here. And you might be asking, hey, why do we only see 2? Because I snapped one off and broke one, so I gotta repair that later. It's pretty easy to repair that. Just drill a hole, add in a vacuum fitting and call it a day. But be very careful. You can easily break these. These are so brittle. So there's 3 vacuum hoses you remove, right? There's a vacuum line here, one on the side. You have a lot of little clips for the sensors, right? Another vacuum line in the front, another clip. This guy right here he's fun. This is a push and fitting. If you don't know how to remove these, take a flathead screwdriver, hold this part right here down, right, red orange part, just hold it down and then you can easily pop out the fitting. I didn't know that. I had to look that up. I've never seen one of those, or I never had to deal with one of those on the other cars. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts that hold the manifold in place. And then aside from all the sensors and everything, which are, again, if you have big hands, it's a pain in the ass. You have to remove, it's like a 7mm bolt that holds this in place. This is like the tubing for the intake. And to get to that, you cannot do that from the top of the car. I mean, I'm lucky I have a lift, so I can lift it up, bring it down, jump on the crawler, and then get under there. But from the underside of the car, you have to stick your hands in. You have very limited spacing. I mean, you can move a lot of like the coolant hoses and stuff to try to make it a little easier. And it's only 1 7mm bolt that you have to deal with. Let's see if it's not here. I know I left it hanging. It's down there. It's hanging. I'm not gonna go down there right now because I made a mess. This is all like coolant that spilled. That's another thing, right? To swap out the alternator on this car, you have to do a coolant flush. So flush all the coolant out of the system. I did it the hard way. Why? Because one, here's the radiator. So my assumption is, and I haven't really looked, is that the drain for the radiator is down in this corner on the driver's side, right? See if I can make this easier for you guys to see, right? So I'm assuming the drain is on this side, right? Because again, when you look up the service manual, there's nothing in there on this, and I couldn't find videos on any of this stuff. So I'm assuming it's in that corner, right? Because I did check on this side and didn't see anything. But to access the radiator, you have to remove the whole front bumper. I'm not doing that. So what I did instead was I came over here and I just removed one of the coolant hoses. So here is a fun fact, and let's put this up for you guys to see. Here's a fun fact. So I zip tied all this stuff out of the way so I could get the alternator out of here. But this right here is for the coolant hose, right? And there's a thermostat too. You have to remove, this is three bolts right here, 3 8mm bolts. This has to get removed from the block, right? And this was in this section right here where that hole is. That has to get removed, because if you don't remove this, you have no space to pull the alternator out. The coolant hose attaches to the bottom of this adapter, right? And I have my coolant hose right here out of the way. I just moved that out of the way. But I just popped the coolant hose and the thermostat out, and I just let it leak to the bottom. So I dropped the pan and I collected most of it. But yeah, that's about it. So pretty much high level, right? Remove the intake manifold, remove the upper coolant hose. I removed the whole assembly, right? Again, I did it in sections. I was figuring stuff out, but you might as well just remove it from here, to be honest, and then you can just move the whole assembly out of the way. So take out 3 8mm bolts that ties this to the block, and if you do it like I did, just let it leak. No harm, no foul. I'll clean that up later. You know, I'll take the hose and I'll just spray all this down. Just be careful with your sensors. There's a ton of sensors all over the place, right, in here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So intake manifold, thermostat housing, remove your vacuum lines, all the sensors that are attached to the manifold, and then you should be golden, good to go. And you can do this from the top of the car. Again, access to the bottom is mainly to remove the intake manifold. There's a separate video. If you do a search on YouTube, there's another guy that made a video on that where he goes in depth and in detail. I'm not gonna do that. There's no point. But yeah, now you know. Just another FYI, if you ever decide to do this while you have this whole thing apart, you might as well replace the starter while you're at it. And you know, I'd make any changes to anything in here that you need access to with the removal of the manifold. But yeah, other than that, hope it's helpful. I was gonna do a full-blown DIY on this, but I'm pressed on time. But yeah, if you found this video helpful, just hit that like button and subscribe. We got more stuff coming, especially for this guy right here. And the vet is good to go. Just needs pretty much a boost tune. You can see what's going on in there. Right, the MSD Atomic, we had the supercharger on there. We're good to go. But yeah, that's all, guys.